Have you ever been in a conversation with someone, and instead of answering your question directly, they go on this long-winded explanation about things that don't really matter? Maybe you ask them something simple like, "Where were you yesterday?" Instead of just saying, "I was at the store," they start telling you about the traffic, the song they were listening to, how the checkout line was too long, and what the cashier was wearing. Sound familiar? That, my friend, is a classic red flag. When someone feels the need to over-explain trivial details, it's often because they're trying to distract you or cover something up. Let's break it down. Why do people do this? When someone lies, it creates tension inside them. It's like their brain is saying, "Oh, we're in dangerous territory here." To ease that tension, they feel the need to overcompensate. They think, if I provide a ton of details, it'll sound more believable. But here's the kicker. In their attempt to sound truthful, they often end up doing the exact opposite. Giving excessive, unnecessary information can make them seem more suspicious, not less. Have you noticed this in someone before? Now, not everyone who rambles is lying, of course. Some people are just naturally chatty or nervous, and that's totally fine. But when the information they're giving feels out of place, like they're offering a story when all you asked for was a straight answer, it might be worth paying closer attention. It's especially telling when the details don't add value to the conversation. For instance, if someone says, "I got home late because the coffee shop was out of almond milk, so I went to another one, and the barista there was new and didn't know how to make my drink," you might start to wonder, why are they even telling me all this? Psychologists suggest that this behavior stems from a deep-seated fear of being caught. The liar's brain is working overtime to make their story seem airtight, and in doing so, they often focus on the less important parts of the story, the parts they feel safer embellishing. This also gives them a chance to steer the conversation away from the parts they're trying to hide. It's almost like they're saying, "Look over here at all these shiny details and don't think too hard about the big picture." Have you ever caught yourself falling for it? What's fascinating is how our gut instincts often pick up on these things before our conscious mind does. You might feel like something is off, but not be able to put your finger on it. Maybe the story feels rehearsed, or the person seems a little too eager to convince you. Trust that feeling. Your intuition is often more accurate than you give it credit for. So how do you handle it when you notice someone doing this? The key is to stay calm and ask follow-up questions. If they're being truthful, they'll have no problem clarifying or sticking to the main points. But if they're lying, you might notice them doubling down on the unnecessary details or getting defensive. It's not about catching them in the act. It's about understanding what's really going on beneath the surface. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to think about how this applies to our own lives too. Have you ever caught yourself rambling or giving too much information when you were nervous or felt the need to cover something up? It's a human thing. We've all done it at some point. The important part is recognizing the behavior, whether it's in ourselves or others, and using that knowledge to navigate conversations with a little more insight and empathy. All right, that's all for today's discussion. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and exploring this fascinating aspect of human behavior. If you found this video helpful or thought-provoking, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might enjoy it too. And hey, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.